Welcome back to Dat Build. And today I have some suspenseful updates for you. I'm so sorry. So firstly, if you're new to the channel, this is my completely torn apart Porsche 911 Turbo 964 Replica. It is based off a 71 Beetle chassis, and over the states of many moons, I have been rebuilding it from the ground up in order to actually make it in a decent state. Have to dismantle the entire tunnel, redo the floors, and I'm now at the point of resealing everything. I did say this in the last episode, it was the final factor of that, but no, the rear end wasn't done, nor was the front, which is where we are today. The front, as you can see here, is kind of done, completely finished off, ball joints partially back in. I can't seat them all the way in, so I've got to think of that one. I do have something at home, see if I can bring that in and get that done. Apart from that, as you can see, we've got some floating parts here, the backs of the rear brake drum pieces, you see them, and the swing arm exterior pieces as well. They've been completely cleaned out and rust converted, so they're just drying from that at the moment. I should have the fan on, but talking, it just makes it too loud. And then of course we have here, this is all in prime at the moment. I'm just about to spray this. So this will be sprayed. Hopefully they'll be dry in time. I'll spray them, and then that's pretty much going to do this video. But obviously you're not going to see all of this until you actually start watching how we got to this point in time. A lot of parts are on back order, unfortunately, so I can't simply reassemble everything in one video, which is what I wanted to do, but it just would have been another 2 weeks after the fact. I just want to keep pumping, some content out at the same time, but it's a decent enough update in my opinion. So this is the teardown factor. The next video will be the assembly factor. So I figure that works pretty well. I still have the actual, what are they? The IRS arms. No idea what the name of them is, but yeah, I haven't actually even touched those yet. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much the last bit of the puzzle. And the tie rod, yeah, there's that plan again. The tie rod section at the front here, I've also got all new parts for that. Got to rebuild that. And a fun little update with regards to something really annoying, which you'll find out along the way. It'll be in the video due course. So enjoy, and I'll see you at the end. So just jumping in here briefly, there's always something with this car, and it's now a factor of the steering box. There was always a bit of an alignment issue which I thought I managed to sort out, but then potentially the actual steering column was slightly bent. I still think it is. Another thing that's just come up, which I've noticed with this, and explains why the pitman arm was previously modified, so to speak, the whole box is shifted over about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches from its actual location. So where the locator piece is right here, it's got the recess on the bracket, it's been shifted right over. And it is, of course, to line up with the new body. I think it's mostly due to an angle factor more than anything, because it is also slightly tilted upwards, or downwards? Downwards, yeah. So less of a rake, because obviously the steering wheel of the Beetle would be much higher and you'd be sitting closer, where in this situation you're sitting further back and lower. So they've kind of shifted it and dropped it. I don't know why they shifted it, but surely enough, I've now got to think of a solution to modify the way the actual steering column works, because this needs to be in the proper spot in the first place, because the geometry is completely out. I noticed that on one wheel to the other, it just wasn't lining up. It wasn't doing what it should. And when you actually turn this, and I get my hands dirty, it's not falling where it actually should. It's partially raised. They adjusted the tie rods and everything to compensate for the difference in the box being shifted over to one side. And of course that pitman arm means that when I go full lock this way, yeah, it doesn't actually stop because there's nothing there to stop. On the tunnel itself, otherwise, the shock absorber was actually fouling. Nothing was actually lining up topside. And now I know exactly why. It is due to this movement of the box. So I've come up with a solution. I'm talking with the engineer at the moment. I'm waiting to hear back from him, but yeah, more on that in the future. But just so you're looking at this and wondering what the story is, I thought I'd just explain it. So moving on. one area done, and at least the chassis is finished. Yes, exactly. So that is now drying. The other stuff, unfortunately, is not dry. It's still really tacky. And I could simply go about wiping the excess off, but I'd rather it completely cure. It does need the full 24-hour treatment. And yeah, I've given it a couple. So yeah, it wasn't ever going to work, but I was hopeful. So anyway, that'll be sprayed next time. At least it is more or less essentially a part of the rebuild, so to speak. So yeah, I can kind of excuse that. Other parts are coming as mentioned, but obviously, as we saw during the video, the biggest tackle I have now, which this car just throws so many curveballs, the steering assembly. What a complete nightmare, because I can't simply hack up the existing one. I've chatted with the mechanic, the engineer, sorry, really quite extensively about this, and we do have a couple of ideas, one in which I'm waiting for some parts to arrive from an absolutely amazing person who is sending them to me, no money down, on the consensus that I do pay them when they arrive, which I absolutely will, but if they're not going to work for me at all, I can simply pay for the postage to him and I'll cover myself and send it back, because I really don't need the part, and it just saves me the money of actually buying a component I'm not ever going to use, and for me probably won't be able to resell that quickly. So then I've got to go about the factor of having this thing modify this existing steering column, which it's going to be tricky, no doubt about, but it needs to be done obviously because I need a steering wheel, clearly. So that'll be later down the track, probably not until right after this is back on. But the trouble is, I really do want to sort this other chap out that's helped me out a heap, and pay him either sooner rather than later and get this back on, test this steering column out that he's sending me, and then either sort him out or send it back instead of, you know, saying wait on, because I wouldn't expect anyone to do that for me. I'm not going to have it done for them. So yeah, as always, just 2 steps forward, 1 massive leap backwards, but at least things are progressing. The chassis is now done once that's dry. Those parts will be done very shortly. IRS swing arms I need to do, and then of course the tie rod section, everything like that, I've got to redo. And I have to find a new pitman arm for my existing steering box because that was hacked up, and now I know why. Dum-dums, but whatever. So that is pretty much going to do it today, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, like, subscribe, comment below, etc. This has been Dat Build. As always, do not choke on these fumes. I'm getting out of here. Now, get back to your build. Until next time, guys. Cheers.